Good morning, student. Today's chapter, that is chapter number 3, that is fiber and fabric. Already we have discussed some certain topic regarding this chapter. So in previous video we have studied regarding processing of wool, how the process step by step we have seen the ways they prepare the wool from wool into a fabric. So already I have discussed that topic. Next, that interesting topic that we will discuss today is regarding the life history of silk moth, life cycle of silk moth. We can say life cycle of silk moth. Silk moth means this is an insect. We can say this is an insect like butterfly, you can say. So these are like insects. So silk moth. So what is the life history of silk moth or life cycle of silk moth? If you are talking about silk, first we will study how these silk are invented, from where it comes. Before, in ancient times, if you look, we used to not wear, you studied already in 6th class, ancient times the people used to wear with the help of what? Bark of a tree or leaves of a tree, or you can say animal fur later on. So there were no any such material or silk cloth that we can cover our body. So during that time, from that time onwards, so in the use of the silk as a fiber is originated in China around 2640 BC. When in China originated, the use of silk are originated in China around when? In 240 BC. In this, during this period, the silk was invented. They originated. History claims that in the mentioned year, a lady called Xingling, encouraged the rearing of this fiber, this silk fiber or silk moth, you can say. The rearing of this Xingling, she invented some loom in which this silk moth can be cultivated. We can say that is sericulture. That can be cultivated in a mulberry tree. We have seen mulberry tree. This can be cultivated in mulberry leaves. This silk moth can be fed with the help of this mulberry leaves. This in mulberry tree, they planted more and more mulberry trees in order to grow this silk moth, so that this silk moth can be used for manufacturing silk fiber, or you can say silk fabric. So this was invented. So during such a time, silk becomes such a precious things. It is to be considered as a considered to be worth as its weight of gold. It is considered to be its weight of gold, worth its weight of gold. So that is such a precious. So what happened? During this time, they kept as a secret for several years. So silk was the monopoly of China for a long time. It is a monopoly of China for a long time. They kept secret for several years. But how other countries they came to know? With the help of Silk Route. You have studied in history, Silk Route. During Silk Route, this secret was exposed to various countries. So after some time, they find out that there is a silk fiber which is very soft, shiny, and also elastic, that can be used for various fabric, which is also very attractive. If you see silk fiber, so it is expensive as though, but it gives a very good texture, we can say. So this is very important. This China in 2640 BC, they originated this silk. So this is how the life history or we can say history of silk originated in our world, we can say. Now we will study what is the life cycle of silk moth. I will talk about history, how this silk originated. So now we will talk about how this silk moth is female, and female silk moth lay eggs on a mulberry leaves, where the leaves which hatch into a larva, into a caterpillar, or we can say silkworm. Silkworm. Now we'll study. First, this female silk moth, that is adult silk moth. Silk moth means it is an insect, we can say. Insect like butterfly, you can say. Butterfly only most probably will get silk caterpillar. So we can say silk moth. Female silk moth lay eggs on a leaves. What leaves? We can say lay eggs. Here, what is eggs? Lay eggs, female silk moth. They will lay egg. Female, this is the first one. Female silk moth lay eggs. After what? They will hatch into a what? They will hatch into a, after one, larva. What is that? That is hatch into a larva. After hatching a larva, what happens? These are also called, these are called, after hatching a larva, what this stage, they are called what? They are called caterpillar, or we can say silkworm. During this stage, what happen? During this stage, what happen? Become worms called, until they become a worm called larva caterpillar. The larvae are fed in this, during this period. This larvae are fed on mulberry leaves for how many? 6 weeks. How many? 6 weeks. For 6 weeks they will fed on mulberry leaves. What is that called? Mulberry leaves. So after what? This larva, caterpillar or silk moth, what during this stage, first of all, it opens a net to hold itself, to holds in the leaves itself. They will hang on the branch of a mulberry tree. So it will first, it opens it net to hold itself. After that, what happen? It will spin. It will spin side by side from one end to another in the figure of 8. So what happen? So after that, what happen? It will spun into a figure of 8. In this position, it will spun. It will spun in a figure of 8 in this position. So what happen? Suppose this is the head position. So this head position will be like this. They will be spinning inside in the figure of 8. During this movement, they will produce or secrete some protein. They will produce some protein. We can say during this movement, they will secrete some protein called they will secrete some protein which become hardened, while this protein is exposed to the air. They will become hardened and they will form a silk fiber that is completely covered with the. So that is called what? Cocoon. That is during that period, that is called pupa. What is that called? Pupa. We can say it's end of this period, they are ready to spin their cocoons. That is called what? Cocoons. So what happened? These are called cocoons. So what happened? After becoming the protein which are exposed to the air, that become hardened while exposed to the what? Air. So what happened? So the larva, we can say, the larva which is inside, that will become completely it will cover with a what? Completely cover with a silk fiber, that is called cocoon. So during the conversion of this cocoon into a pupa, we can say that is also called, this is called pupa stage. Or what happened? They climb in the branch of trees and started spinning their cocoons. They started during this stage, also called pupa stage. This is called pupa stage when cocoons are made. So what happened? During this spinning period, the covering will become that covering is called cocoons, that is pupa stage, that is covering called cocoon. This cocoon become harder and harder, the days goes by. What happened? So during this stage, they take about 8 days for the process. This will take how many days for this preparation of this cocoons? 8 days. It will take 8 days. For this process of making cocoons is 8 days. What happened? These fibers are removed. This silk fiber, this is called silk fibers, and after and they will convert into a what? Again they will convert into a moth. Conversion of cocoon to moth, silk moth. Then they will goes on like this. Silk moth, then this female silk moth again lay eggs and larva, then cocoon, then this is the cycle it goes on. So from this silk moth they will extract this silk fiber. They will extract this silk fiber. If you imagine, there are variety of different types of silk moth. There are different type of moths, variety of silk moth, from which they often different types of fibers from one another. They are different from different moths from one another. So they will often different variety of silk moth, such as we can say, we can name them, such as first one is what? First one is kasar silk, kosa silk, and we can say moga silk. These are the different silk moth. These are the different silk moth having different textures, having different textures. Different textures means like we can say coarse, coarse, shiny, and we can say elastic. They're different structure they have. So from this most probably they use, nowadays we often silk moth that is from made for mulberry leaves. The silk moth which is often from mulberry leaves are used especially nowadays. So if you for your information, if you will not surprised to know that the soft silk fiber which are often from the silk moth are comparable, are stronger if you compare with a steel thread. They are very stronger than steel thread with same dimension if you compare silk thread. If you say silk thread or yarn, we can say these are often mostly from mulberry leaves. That is a silk moth. Mulberry leaves, that is cocoons. These cocoons are often from mulberry leaves which are made from mulberry tree. So nowadays these are used as in India most probably. This culture, they will cultivate this type of rearing of the silk moth is known as sericulture. What is that called? Sericulture. What is that called? Sericulture. These are called sericulture. This sericulture mostly in India they will occupy. This occupation is done in a large scale, in a commercial scale. Commercial means they used for what? For buying and selling, for importing to other countries or exporting to other countries, we can say, from other countries. So these are very important fiber which are often from this silk, we can say from silk moth. That is, we can say this is not naturally made. These are, you often this silk from animals, we can say. We can often this silk from animals. These are not natural fiber. These are what you can say. These are natural fiber, but often from animals. We cannot say this is often from plants. Silk is often from animals. Don't confuse. Silk is often from animals, not from plants. Plant we often from cotton and wool. Cotton, and we can say most probably you can say these are also often from we can say silk. Silk is often from plants, we can say, but what is contributing here? Most probably insect, but it is made from plant naturally. Naturally it is made. What it now? So we can say, whether we can say life cycle of a silk moth, and we can say this sericulture are done in India especially for commercial basis, or we can say commercial scale. I hope you understand the process of life cycle of life history of silk moth, how this silk moth helps in obtaining silk fiber, which is used for a different variety of fabric. And this silk fiber, which are often from this mulberry tree, are used for dyeing on variety of colors, and it is very expensive nowadays. Because of its expensiveness, we use some artificial fiber, which we will study in 8th class. This is the how these cocoons are gathered. So next class we will study how this rearing of this cocoon, this silk moth is we can rare in our country. How can we rare, how is obtained, how it is converted into a fiber, we will study in coming chapter, coming topic, we can say coming video. So exams will be conducted on 27. I hope you have clear idea regarding exam, but I will let you know how it will be conducted in online. So very soon I will let you know. No need to worry, but prepare chapter 1 and chapter 2 completely with workbook and also exercise. Read the all topic of this chapter 1 and chapter 2. Get ready, and I hope you will do well. That is my wishes for you all. Thank you.